In the worst hour of the worst season of the worst year of a whole people, a man left the workhouse with his wife. He was walking, they were both walking north. She was sick with famine fever and could not keep up. He lifted her and put her on his back. He walked like this, west and north, until at nightfall, under freezing stars, they arrived. The next morning they were both found dead. Of cold, of hunger, of the toxins of a whole history. But her feet were held against his breastbone. The last heat of his flesh was his last gift to her. Let no love poem ever cross this threshold. There is no place for the inexact praise of easy graces and sensuality of the body. There is only time for this merciless inventory. Their death together in the winter of 1847, also how they suffered, how they lived, and what there is between a man and a woman, and in which darkness it can best be proved.
Chóide, Céad Míle fáilte roimh agus banachtaí lá éile pádraig Díobh go léir. Friends from the Irish residents here in Washington, D.C., welcome and thank you for joining us this evening. Evan Boland's poem Quarantine, which Grace Odomosu recited so beautifully just now, reflects on our people's experience 175 years ago. The Great Famine forced more than 1 million people from our shores. Many sought refuge here in the New World. Ancestors of the 35 million Americans who, like President Biden, are proud of their Irish descent. But quarantine also speaks to something of what the past 12 months has been for many of us. It was around St. Patrick's Day last year when COVID was declared a pandemic, and when collectively we came to realize how brutal its impact would be. The year since has, in Evan Boland's words, perhaps been the worst for a whole people. At the same time, it's brought to light incredible acts of kindness and heroism. And it's reaffirmed to many of us what matters most in life: our families, our communities, our culture. For me, who has spent 4 decades as a diplomat celebrating Ireland's language and literature, I've been struck by the solace we've taken in poetry and in proverbs, what we call seanchal, literally old words. This evening is about celebrating our old traditions and our history, as well as the new Ireland I'm proud to represent, and the new Irish America I'm proud to have gotten to know these past 3 years. Over the course of the next hour and a half, I and our 7 Consul General will guide you through a programme that celebrates Irish American identity in all of its many wonderful shades. Alongside music, dance and poetry from all corners of this great nation, we'll hear inspirational stories of Irish America's history, our traditions, our hopes and our resilience. And together we'll honour and remember those who we've lost over the past 12 months. In a moment, our Taoiseach will offer his own words of welcome. But before he does, we begin with a song which lends its title to our celebration tonight, and which perhaps reflects how many of us feel just now, so many thousands of miles from Ireland. Johnny Cash wrote 40 Shades of Green while on tour in Ireland in 1959. It was so timeless, though, that when he performed it on tour, Irish people would come up afterwards to thank him for playing such an old Irish tune. It's a song which, as President Biden has put it, makes us nostalgic about the future. Here it is performed by Johnny's brilliant daughter, Roseanne Cash.
I'm Roseanne Cash, and my father wrote this song after the first time he performed in Ireland. The beauty of the Emerald Isle inspired him so much that he wrote the 40 Shades of Green. I close my eyes and picture the emerald of the sea, from the fishing boats at Dingle to the shores of Dundee. I miss the River Shannon and the folks at Skibbereen, the moorlands and the meadows with their 40 shades of green. soft decided down. Again I want to see and do the things we've done and seen, where the air is sweet as Shalimar and there's 40 shades of green. I wish that I could spend an hour at Dublin's churning surf. I'd love to watch the farmers drain the bogs and spade the turf, to see again the thatching, the straw the women glean. Oh, I'd walk from club to lawn to see the 40 shades of green. And most of all I miss a boy in Tipperary town. And most of all I miss his lips, as soft as eider down. Again I want to see and do the things we've done and seen, where the air is sweet as Shalimar and there's 40 shades of green. The air is sweet as Shalimar and there's 40 shades of green.
Ambassador Mulhall, Accorda, friends. There's an old saying that there are two kinds of people in the world, the Irish and those who wish they were. That may not be true every day, but on March 17th at least, the world really does turn green. Nowhere more than the United States, home to half of our diaspora, a remarkable 35 million Irish Americans, yours as a community 5 times the population of our island, one which, in Whitman's words, contains multitudes, and which, like America herself, is enriched by that diversity, just as we in Ireland are, by those who, like St. Patrick 13 centuries ago, have come from overseas to call our island home. Irish culture, of course, has its roots in Ireland, but like our people, it's never been confined to it. The first St. Patrick's Day parades were not in New Ross, but in New York. The world's largest Irish cultural festivals are not in Mayo, Cork, or Dublin, but in Milwaukee, Kansas City, and Dublin, Ohio. And Riverdance was as much a creation of dancers from Chicago and New York as a composer from Limerick. Through the ages, Irish-American artists have imagined and reimagined Ireland, and through their creativity, refashioned how our nation is seen, not just in America, but across the world. Today, our music, dance, and literature inspires many brilliant young Americans with no ancestral ties to Ireland. Artists who, far from appropriating our culture, appreciate, renew, and enrich it. This evening is about celebrating those riches, the many shades that comprise Irish America, and the deep and deepening ties between our nations. In a year that has kept us apart, it's also an occasion to come together. To remember all we've lost, yes, but also to reflect on what we have achieved. This pandemic has hit us all hard. There can be scarcely a family across America or Ireland who has not suffered some loss. But as I've told President Biden, even as we've been tested, time and time again, the Irish have shown our meitheal. An ancient Gaelic word, meitheal. It captures the idea of community and resilience, the kindness and kinship needed to winter out this most violent storm. A spirit of meitheal underpinned the donations thousands upon thousands of Irish and Irish Americans made last summer to aid the Navajo and Hopi people, returning a kindness the Choctaw showed our ancestors 174 years ago. A spirit of mettle inspired the selflessness of the Irish lacrosse team, who gave up their place in a world championship so that the Iroquois, founders of the ancient game, might compete in their place. And it was the spirit of a meitheal which led Irish community leaders across New York, New Jersey and Pennsylvania to come together last spring to source PPE for frontline workers and care for those most in need. Lá Éile Pádraig, St. Patrick's Day, is more than Ireland's national day. The Gaelic fáilte, literally feast, captures the fact that above all else, this is an occasion for celebration. And so this evening, in honour of St. Patrick, let us celebrate. Celebrate an island diverse now in her culture as in her landscape. Celebrate a people spread wide across the globe and across your vast country. People bound together through shared heritage. Celebrate the resilience in our hearts, the kindness we do each other, the truths we hold self-evident. Celebrate Ireland, celebrate America, and celebrate Irish America in her many brilliant shades, all of which shine with special lustre at this special time of year. Recognizing that, hard as the days ahead may be, le chéile, together we will come through them. Goribh Maithagibh a Charda, enjoy this evening's programme, and a happy St. Patrick's Day to you all.
In February 2020, as an Irish woman living in the United States, I was afforded an historic opportunity by my American colleagues to become the first woman to conduct the orchestra at the Academy Awards. I was struck by the emotion of the occasion and felt that positive change was in the air. But I didn't cry. I had a job to do. It wasn't until January 2021 when Vice President Kamala D. Harris raised her hand and swore to uphold the Constitution of the United States that the tears shamelessly flowed, and I knew that positive change had come. And oh, I was glad you were there too, President Biden. My friends, a Carja, from the heart of Dublin City, we're not going to have a parade, but we invite you to lift your eyes and your hearts skyward as we write messages of hope, of love, of togetherness in the sky above Dublin City. From Windmill Lane Recording Studios and from the RTE National Symphony Orchestra, we wish you a wonderful St. Patrick's Day 2021.
Before I was a diplomat, I was a historian. As ambassador, one of my great joys, before the pandemic of course, was to travel across this nation and learn the incredible histories of our people here. 2 summers ago, I visited Utah to mark the 150th anniversary of the completion of the first transcontinental railroad, the Golden Spike. In the classic western Dodge City, a railway owner remarks of this epic feat of engineering. Well, he said, it takes all kinds of men to build a railroad, only to receive a quick-fire reply from a redhead labourer, no sir, just us Irish. Now, of course, the great railway, like the United States itself, was the work of many hands from many nations. But equally, it's true that Irish immigrants made up the mainstay of those building from east to west, just as did the Chinese from west to east. Our first series of Shades of Green this evening are devoted to such histories, reflections of how from Maine to Montana, Irish hands have shaped and reshaped this nation's very geography, and how indeed it is that, as President Biden put it in his proclamation of Irish American Heritage Month, the very fabric of modern America is woven through with the green of the Emerald Isle.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. My name is Paula Stokes and I'm from Navan, County Meath, and I live in Seattle, Washington. I'm here today to talk about my exhibitions in Ireland. My project 1845 Memento Mori is a famine memorial dedicated to the Irish potato famine. I have created an installation made from 1,845 hand-blown glass potatoes that are piled into the form of a cairn. A cairn is a man-made pile of stones that can serve as a landmarker, but in this case it represents a grave. The number of the potatoes, 1,845, references the year that the potato blight came to Ireland, marking the beginning of a period of mass starvation, disease and emigration. Over 1.5 million people died and a further 1 million emigrated. I chose to create a representation of the potato, a classic and iconic symbol associated with Ireland, using molten hot glass. As a material, glass lends itself well as a metaphor for both fragility and strength, reflecting the vulnerability and resilience of those who died and those who survived the famine. The work will travel to Ireland and be shown at Irish heritage properties and at national museums that, through their own specific histories, inform and enhance the experience of viewing the work. In this work, I have created a keepsake, connecting me to my home, culture and heritage in Ireland. But also in creating this work, I throw light on historical events that have shaped the present, and in doing so, I hope to open a dialogue on how we can learn from the past.
Lala, Padraig, Sonadiv. Happy St. Patrick's Day from Portland, Maine. My name is Bob Kearney. My family hails from Ericourt, County Galway, and Longford, County Longford. I am honored to chair the Board of Directors for the Maine Irish Heritage Center, located here in this magnificent building, built brick by Irish immigrants in the 1800s. This is where we will always keep our Irish stories alive, where we will always remember those who came before us. When the early Irish immigrants first arrived here in Maine, they had so little in their pockets, but they held tightly onto dreams of a better life. Although we are thousands of miles apart, our stories will always connect us. We will always be linked, deeply linked, by our past, our present, and our future. From all of us, your Irish descendants, settled here in Maine, happy St. Patrick's Day. Slán go Fóill.
Well, a very pleasant happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you. My name is Father Tom Hurley. I'm the pastor at Old St. Patrick's Church in downtown Chicago, Illinois. I wore my best Irish mask for all of you. It's got the Irish flag on there. So to all of you, welcome virtually to this sacred space that was built by our Irish immigrant ancestors back between the years 1853 and 1856. I hope that someday all of you will be able to make your way to Chicago and to appreciate just the stunning, beautiful Celtic artwork that is adorning the walls and the windows and the ceiling of this holy place. Wearing my sash, I was asked last year in 2020 to be the Grand Marshal of the Chicago Parade. It's one of the best parades for St. Patrick's Day in the world. And then this year they asked me to do it again, but lo and behold, 2 years in a row, no parade. So I hold this unusual title that I'm a Grand Marshal, but I have never led a parade 2 years in a row. I don't know if anybody will ever break that record. I hope they don't. Well, blessings to all of you. Thank you for all that you do to continue to create this beautiful partnership between the United States and Ireland. Blessings to all of you, and happy St. Patrick's Day.
Hi, my name is Michelle McClinney, and I'm a historian here at the Alamo.
My name is Eileen Burke-Fott. I'm a member of the Harp and Shamrock Society of Texas.
The Alamo began its life as a Spanish mission in 1718, before it became a fort in the 1800s. It was a Spanish fort, a Mexican fort, and then Texas declared its independence from Mexico in 1836, when the Battle of the Alamo took place. There were many Irish defenders at the Battle of the Alamo, and many Irish descendants at the Battle of the Alamo with Irish surnames.
Many do not know that there is an Irish flag inside the Alamo. In 1967, the newly formed Society of the Harp and Shamrock laid the first wreath at the Alamo. For the last 50 plus years, the Harp and Shamrock Society of Texas has laid a wreath on St. Patrick's Day. I was at the very first ceremony of the laying of the wreath here at the Alamo, but each year I read the names of the defenders of the Alamo, and it's something I'm very proud of and hope to continue to do for this society. Happy St. Patrick's Day from the Harp and Shamrock Society of Texas.
Happy St. Patrick's Day from all of us here at the Alamo.
Hi, welcome to Brown's Irish Marketplace in Kansas City. We opened in 1887 by my great-grandparents. They were immigrants from County Kerry, Ireland. We've kept it in the family. This is the 5th generation, and the 6th generation are toddlers working their way through Brown's as well. We love that we've been such an important part of the community in Kansas City and the Irish community in general. It's unusual times we're living in now, but we look back and think of our generations before us who got through so many different things, even another pandemic, world wars, and we all came together and supported each other. And that's so important to do now. In the meantime, we're still doing plenty of fun things. We have Irish music this weekend, and we're trying to keep things lively and connected.
Just a great thing about the store and the community, it's always been a place where people gather, families, and on any given time we could have 3 or 4 generations of families outside gathering together. And it's so wonderful to be a part of that. We really feel fortunate to be part of the Kansas City Irish community and the Kansas City community. It's very important.
Bonach Day, Nefel Padraig Neve.
What she said.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day, Banach Dí Nefela Poragurv from the Peach State. Ireland has deep connections here in Georgia and right across the southern states of the US. Those roots find expression in the arts and music of Appalachia, where Irish traditional music forms fused with other cultures down through the centuries to create the unique sound that is bluegrass. Our next Shades of Green illustrates some of that fusion. We'll hear from Nora Brown, a gifted banjo player from New York, and the amazing Jerron Blind Boy Paxton from LA. Then we'll come back here to Atlanta, Georgia, to experience the talent of the Porter Brothers, 2 of Irish dancing's brightest young stars. But first, we head across the Atlantic to Galway to hear from Celtgrass pioneers and legends of the American Irish festival scene, Wee Banjo 3. Enjoy.
I'm Martin from Wee Banjo 3. As 2 sets of brothers from the west coast of Ireland, we've had the distinct honour to truly see America, to meet Americans of all walks of life, from small-town Alaska to the bustle of New York City. That opportunity was built upon friendship, upon immigration, deep musical heritage and connection. Our musical lens focuses on that in-between, that Atlantic crossing. We look at the sounds of Irish traditional music blended with American sounds. We honour the path that many Irish have gone before us, travelling, bringing their music to America, becoming part of its fabric, part of its very idea. We pay homage to that connection, and from its deep well, we write and we compose. Today's piece is a melding of the new and the old, of the Irish and of the American, and of that transatlantic connection that we all celebrate today. We honour the road we've come and the path yet ahead. May the unity and friendship long sustain.
1, 2, 3, 4.
light fills the room, and the clock tells me to go. 'Cause there's people I need to see, and places I need to be, but I wish that I could lie here with you. 'Cause you were my nightlight, and always my guiding star. You're the one who always lights my way. When the night comes, and I won't forget your spark. You're the one who led me from the dark. So shine on, shine on, shine on with me. Shine on, shine on, shine on with me. Dance with me tonight, hold your hand in mine. Let me sweep you off your feet to the rhythm of our dreams. Without you I'd be forever counting sheep. So shine on, shine on, shine on with me. Shine on, shine on, shine on with me. You were my nightlight, always my guiding star. You're the one who always lights my way. When the night comes, I won't forget your spark. You're the one who led me from the dark. Shine on, shine on, shine on with me. Shine on, shine on, shine on with me.
Hi, I'm Nora Brown.
And I'm Megan Downs.
We're wishing you a happy St. Patrick's Day from Brooklyn, New York. Today we'll be playing Last Chance for You, which is originally recorded as part of the Irish Arts Centre annual Celtic Appellation celebration hosted by musician and folklorist Mick Maloney.
Last Chance is a great old-time tune. It's made for dancing, and Nora's going to be playing a fretless 5-string banjo, and I'm going to be adding some foot percussion with my feet. I want to say we're really excited to be part of Shades of Green this year, and please enjoy.
Hello, my name is Jack.
And my name is Cian.
And together, we're the Porter Brothers. We both dance for the Cabinet Porter Warren studio located in Peachtree City, Georgia, and we're both competitive Irish dancers.
Yep, and myself and Jack just want to wish all of you a very happy St. Patrick's Day, and that all of you are hopefully keeping safe and healthy. It's obviously unfortunate we can't perform for you live this year, but you know, we'll make it work virtually. So thanks so much for tuning in, and we hope you enjoy our little routine.
I'm going to play you a little banjo music that comes from around the year of 1848 in servant class at that time with black folks. And that's when the Irish people started getting in contact with the servant class, which they now found themselves in. And tunes begun to get swapped, and the entertainment of the time was based off of enslaved people entertaining themselves. A lot of Irish immigrants had the opportunity to say things they wouldn't be able to say freely about their bosses and things like that, while dressed up as the enslaved people. So it's a funny little bit of justice we have in this country. Everybody gets to dress up and make fun of the boss.
Happy St. Patrick's Day from the Second City. Traditions mean a lot to our community across the Midwest, and never more so than on this day, when we turn Chicago's river and Indy's canal emerald green, parade proudly through the streets of Cleveland and Detroit, squeeze into the pews of Old St. Pat's, governors and mayors elbow to elbow with plumbers and preachers, and gather at Celtic Junction in Minnesota or at the Ward Centre in Milwaukee to enjoy some of the most talented dancers and musicians on earth. Our next shades of green tell the traditions that make this day so special here and right across America. From the nation's most Irish town to one of her most famous parades, from Capitol Hill back to the Chicago River, these are the stories of Irish America, some as old as America herself.
Hello, I'm Melissa from Celtic MKE. Celtic MKE is a nonprofit organization dedicated to preserving and promoting Irish, Irish American, and Celtic cultures. March always brings about a fun and busy time for us as an organization because we go out in the community to promote the St. Patrick's season and our love for all things Irish. One of our beloved annual traditions is hosting an event at our center in Milwaukee, Wisconsin that allows for families to be able to celebrate the Emerald holiday. Just as we offer family activities and children's entertainment at our festival, Milwaukee Irish Fest, our St. Patrick's Family Day in the Village was a place for kids to make memories and develop an affinity for Irish traditions and activities, like hurling, Irish dancing, playing an Irish instrument, and learning about popular symbols through drawing and crafts. While we miss celebrating in person, we have found ways to adapt and still bring the excitement of the St. Patrick's season and pride of our heritage to our community through online programming. We at Celtic MKE want to wish everyone in the Irish diaspora a happy St. Patrick's Day. Sláinte.
Good afternoon and happy St. Patrick's Day. My name is Jim Coyne. I'm the business manager of Plumbers Local 130. I am also the general chairman of the Chicago St. Patrick's Day. Today we dyed the river green. The plumbers, we've been dyeing the river since 1962. This was our 65th parade. To all of Chicago, happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm born and raised in Chicago, and I love my Irish heritage and the Irish culture. So happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone.
I am Catherine Shannon, wishing you happy St. Patrick's Day here at Scituate, Massachusetts, the most Irish town in America. Scituate's connections with Ireland began during the Great Famine, when Irish immigrants came here as harvesters for the Irish sea moss or seaweed industry. Scituate is known as the Irish Riviera because so many prominent Boston families came here to summer in the early 19th century. They were followed by second and third generation Irish after World War II. We maintain our strong links with Ireland and its heritage through our annual commemoration of the Rising of 1916 and through our commemoration of the Brig St. John victims, and we will make these bonds stronger in future years. Slán go Foyle.
I'm Bishop Stephen Parks of the Roman Catholic Diocese of Savannah.
The story of St. Patrick is one of strife and perseverance. A young man kidnapped and forced into slavery. After his escape, he returned as a missionary to preach the gospel and bring Christianity to all of Ireland.
And I'm John Fogarty, General Chairman of the Savannah St. Patrick's Day Parade Committee. The story of the Irish in Savannah, Georgia is also one of turmoil and determination. Our ancestors came here looking for a better life for their children. And generations later, we're still here, woven into the fabric of our community.
I'm Mayor Van Johnson, Mayor of the City of Savannah. Hard times and challenges are something we all understand today. But with St. Patrick as our example, we know that with hard work and a little faith, we will overcome our current trials. And like the Irish immigrants who helped to make Savannah the special place it is today, we will thrive.
Happy St. Patrick's Day from Washington, D.C. You know, this city and her people have always been linked by an emerald thread. Atop the Capitol, the highest point in Washington, is the Statue of Freedom, designed by Thomas Crawford, son of Irish immigrants. In 1789, another Thomas Fitzsimmons, born in Ireland, became the first chair of the House Ways and Means Committee, which I now lead. Friends of Ireland go back almost as far, first meeting in 1843. But the caucus I chair today was established on St. Patrick's Day 4 decades ago by 4 horsemen, Senators Ted Kennedy, Daniel Moynihan, and Governor Hugh Carey and Speaker Tip O'Neill. Through the decades, we've pressed to secure peace and prosperity across the island of Ireland. At each St. Patrick's Day, our Speaker has hosted the Taoiseach and the President. Alongside the State of the Union address, one of only 2 occasions the President calls on Congress each year. Because of COVID, there can be no St. Patrick's Day lunch this year, but I promise you, friends, that next March the Capitol will wear green again, celebrating the ties that bind our nations and the contributions the Irish have made across this great land, America.
It's a testament to the impact the Irish have had here in America that more than half of this nation's presidents have been of Irish descent. But alongside President Kennedy, none have been so clearly connected to that identity as President Biden is. Before he last visited Ireland in an official capacity in the summer of 2017, the President penned a moving letter to his heritage. Echoing James Joyce, he wrote that while Northeast Pennsylvania would be written on his heart, when he passed, Ireland would be written on his soul. The President, of course, is the world's most celebrated fan of Irish poetry, a passion I share. And he's argued famously that he doesn't quote Irish poets just because he's Irish, but because they're the best. And quite right he is. Today, our Taoiseach and the President announced a new poetic partnership between Poetry Ireland and Chicago's Poetry Foundation. And to celebrate, we presented the President with a special recitation of one of his and my favourite poems, Yeats's Lake Isle of Innisfree. Following that, we'll hear from Cathy Maguire, a gifted singer from County Louth, from which the President's ancestors, the Finnegans, hailed. She's penned this tribute to the President, celebrating his resilience. A resilience which, whatever your politics, I believe epitomises the best of Irish America.
It is my honor today to present President Joe Biden with one of W.B. Yeats' most famous poems, The Lake Isle of Innisfree. President Biden, you may remember the last time we were together in person. You signed this book of Yeats for me. Thank you again. Thank you as well for all you have done for me and others who stutter. The Lake Isle of Innisfree. I will arise and go now, and go to Innisfree. And a small cabin built there, of clay and wattles made. 9 bean rows will I have there, a hive for the honeybee, and live alone in the bee-loud glade.
And I shall have some peace there, for peace comes dropping slow, dropping from the vales of the morning to where the cricket sings. There midnight's all a glimmer, and noon a purple glow, an evening full of the linnet's wings.
I will arise and go now, for always night and day. I hear lake water lapping with low sounds by the shore, while I stand on the roadway, or on the pavement's grey. I hear it in the deep heart's core.
From the poorest of the poor to where I stand today, the story is unlikely that's written on this page. My forefathers, bound by courage, set sail across the sea with nothing but faith against the gales on their quest for destiny. Oh, America, oh, how they dreamt of thee, where nothing is impossible if you dare to dream, where you can turn the tides of fate, where freedom's free to roam. America, 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 my home. I've stood upon the shoulders of those who came before and felt the thousand heartaches that those strong shoulders bore. I've had my share of victories, my share of losses too, but in this land of liberty, they don't give up on you. Oh, America, oh, how they dreamt of thee, where nothing is impossible if you dare to dream, where you can turn the tides of fate, where freedom's free to roam. America, 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 my home. America, 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 my
Lo Éile Podric Honna ó Chathair Angle. Greetings from Los Angeles, California, home of Ireland's newest consulate in the United States. Ireland has deep roots in LA, a city steeped in creativity and recognisable to millions of people around the world through the movies and television shows that have made Los Angeles a world-leading entertainment capital. Ireland's creative community is making an impact in LA, both on screen and behind the scenes, and Irish culture and creativity continues to resonate with US audiences. In a few moments, you will hear the unique sounds of Keela as part of a very special concert collaboration with Wolfwalkers from the studios of Cartoon Saloon in County Kilkenny, which was nominated this week for Best Animated Feature in the 2021 Academy Awards. After that, we will see the exciting talent of Richmond dancer Morgan Bullock. But first up, a Bowron and Bones player from right here in LA, percussionist James Yoshizawa.
Happy St. Patrick's Day from Los Angeles, California. My name is James Yoshizawa. I'm here in the greenest room that I could find. I'm going to play an Irish percussion instrument for you called the bones. And this is an original improvisation that will have some traditional Irish rhythms and some non-traditional rhythms. And I'm going to call it the Slippery Slope.
Hi, I'm Morgan Bullock. I'm Moira Reagan. And I'm Meg Walker. Happy St. Patrick's Day to you all from Richmond, Virginia.
Hey, fáilte Rovistach, welcome in everybody. Banachti, Féile Pádraig, Oravillig. A big happy St. Patrick's Day to everybody in America.
Hey, English girl, where'd you think you're going dressed like that?
I'm a hunter.
Oi, a hunter. Would you listen to her fancy dancing accent?
I am a hunter, just like my father. He's the best hunter there is.
No, he's not. My father's the best hunter.
Yeah, well, we're hunting wolves for a Lord Protector.
Lord Protector put my father in chains for nothing. You English think you're so great, but you're not. Just go home. First, this is going to cost me.
No.
You'll pay for that, English girl.
Hey, Lá Éile Póra of San Francisco, and from the Robert Emmet statue right here in the center of Golden Gate Park. President Biden, as we know, is fond of Irish poets. Over the past year, he's returned again and again to these verses from The Cure of Troy by Seamus Heaney. Human beings suffer, they torture one another, they get hurt and get hard. No poem or play or song can fully right a wrong, inflicted and endured. History says, don't hope on this side of the grave, but then once in a lifetime, the longed for tidal wave of justice can rise up and hope and history rhyme. We've heard stories tonight of our people's remarkable history. Here are tales of Ireland and America that speaks to our hopes, our resilience in the face of suffering, and our desire to right wrongs. Bun Seltastu.
My name is Sonny Finn Campbell, and I've played in the Irish national lacrosse team since 2012. I've been lucky enough to travel the world playing lacrosse, as far away as Australia and India, and closer to home in Hungary, in Germany, in the Netherlands. The places I've been and the people that I've met have had a huge impact on my life. For those who aren't aware, the Iroquois nationals were excluded from the World Games as they are not officially recognised as a sovereign nation and thus were deemed ineligible. When given the opportunity, the Irish national lacrosse team were more than happy to pull out and give their spot to the Iroquois nationals. The Iroquois nationals gave this game to the world, and without them, none of us would be going to Birmingham, Alabama to play lacrosse. For that, we are forever grateful. So thanks to the Iroquois nationals, and we hope to see them on the pitch again soon.
It fechan sheer a bhí tá is a bhfuil muintir na Gael a gcónaí. Hána dur an so go talamh na Henglishe de roint agus talamh an Irish de roint eile. They came with their pockets full of sorrow and their hearts full of dreams to a new world where they could be whatever their wishes could promise. The Irish and the Irish language found fast friends here with the sons and daughters of those who came before. Through the fostering of the Irish language, music and sports, which sailed back across the ocean and strengthened the roots on home soil. Many social clubs, pubs and festivals kept the stories alive in the minds of the generations that followed. But it's the language that kept the fire burning in our bellies. In California, the state flag has Irish green grass keeping the bear afloat. In San Diego alone, we've a Cultus branch, many sessions, set dancing, rang on the Gaelge, and J clubs with the full gamut of hurling, football, ladies football and camogie. America, áit na diaframid or Ashlingy, Tomid Anibuechti.
I am Nettie Washington Douglas, and today I celebrate my Irish ancestry. My maternal great-great-grandfather was an O'Connor. Additionally, on this day, I reflect upon my paternal great-great-grandfather, Frederick Douglass, who in 1845 arrived in Ireland and escaped slave. The time he spent there and meeting his hero, Daniel O'Connell, forever changed his life. For the first time in Frederick Douglass's life, he was greeted with a handshake, looked in his eyes and called Mr. Douglas, and could walk down the street without fear of being recaptured. For the first time in his life, he was treated as a human being. He was moved by, quote, a total absence of all manifestations of prejudice against me on account of my color. I find myself not treated as a color, but as a man, not as a thing, but as a child of the common father of us all, end quote. I too have been so moved by the welcome Frederick Douglass received when he traveled to Ireland. Today I raise a toast to Ireland and celebrate her very special people. And the other thing I get to do today is wear my favorite color, green. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
When he visited Galway in June 1963, President John F. Kennedy addressed a huge crowd in Eyre Square. Clouds covered the horizon that afternoon, but, said the president, if the day were clear enough and if you went down to the bay and looked west and your sight good enough, you would see Boston. And if you did, you'd see working on the docks there cousins of yours who'd gone to Boston and made good. Our gaze in Ireland has always been across the Atlantic, and here in Boston, that most Irish of American cities, there are many cousins who've made good. It's my pleasure tonight to introduce a brand new song from one of them, the gifted Aoife O'Donovan. Launched just today and titled Transatlantic, it's a work to match Kennedy's vision. After it, we'll travel west to the Twin Cities of Minnesota to take in one of the world's best step dancers, and then we'll track south to Kansas City for the soulful sound of Hilux. Enjoy, and happy St. Patrick's Day to you all from Boston.
Hi. I'm Aoife O'Donovan, originally from Boston, Massachusetts, but currently down here in Orlando, Florida. And I'm so excited to be a part of Shades of Green and release my new song, Transatlantic, through this amazing project made possible by the Irish Arts Centre. This song is available today everywhere you listen to music and features the incredible Chris Drever from Scotland, and really hope you enjoy it. It's part of a commission that the Irish Arts Centre did this year called Grace in Uncertainty, Grasta, Grace in Uncertainty. And when I was asked to be a part of this project, I kind of started to write some new stuff, but then ended up finding this kind of snippet of an older song I'd been working on a couple of years ago, and was able to really kind of see how this fit with the current landscape right now, and was just so thrilled to get to collaborate with musicians across the pond for this new song. Hope you enjoy it.
You fell asleep with your head down. I fell asleep saying please. The banjos and fiddles played breakdowns, and we slept like babies. Out in the barroom you sang songs from another time. When you got the words wrong, I woke up and sang your lines. You take the high road and I'll take the low road. We'll get there before you. We'll make it to Scotland. Have we forgotten what we're going there for? You fell in love with your hands out. Your hands made a peace sign. So I fell apart when you pulled out. We ought to try. Everything's broken around me, but heather dies when I pass. The sky looks like a foundry where my heart is metal cast. You take the high road and I'll take the low road. I'll get there before you. We'll make it to Scotland. Have we forgotten what we're going there for? I'll swim across the golden sea in a transatlantic reverie, just to see your face when I wash up on the barren shores of sky. Into the lowlands and fly, take my hand and walk side by side, side by side.
everybody, happy St. Patrick's Day from the Twin Cities of Minneapolis and St. Paul, Minnesota. Once home to the most extensive streetcar line in the country, and also currently home to the Minnesota Twins, amongst other things. My name is Danielle Enblum, and I'm going to bring you inside across the street here to the Center for Irish Music to join fellow Minneapolitan Anna Lethert and Bemidji born and bred guitarist and singer extraordinaire Brian Miller, and also Dublin transplant Danny Diamond for some tunes and songs and steps. So we'll see you in there in just a sec.
Hey everyone, it's great to be part of this project for the Irish Embassy for St. Patrick's Day. We're going to play a few tunes for you from myself and Brian's new album, Let Fly. But first, Brian's going to sing a song for us all.
Thank you so much, Danny. I will sing a song that comes from Minnesota, right here where we are, and it's a song from the 1800s, we think. We don't know the whole story behind it, but there were a lot of Irish that came to Minnesota working on the railroads and working in the lumber woods and also farming along the Minnesota River Valley. And this one probably comes from those farming communities, and it's kind of a sort of a tongue-in-cheek advertisement for why everybody should move to Minnesota. How the weather here is amazing. Lovely Minnesota. Come all you jolly immigrants that feel inclined to roam into the western country to find yourself a home. Just take a pioneer's advice, he'll point you out the best. It's lovely Minnesota, that lily of the West. To see this pleasant country, it would fill you with surprise. To see the spreading prairie and fields of grain likewise. You call into a cabin, you're always a welcome guest. In lovely Minnesota, that lily of the West. To see the jolly farmer out a-toiling at his plow. Likewise the pretty milkmaids milking at their cows. Also those loyal homemakers with tempers of the best. They're the darlings of Minnesota, that lily of the West. For our fields they yield spontaneously potatoes, corn, and grain. The climate's also healthy with soothing showers of rain. There's plenty of fish in every stream and game in the forest. In lovely Minnesota, that lily of the West. We have a thriving commerce out upon our inland seas, where lofty ships and steamboats do sail continually. We've got mariners here, both stout and brave, and captains of the best. On the shores of Minnesota, that lily of the West. And pleasant towns and villages do decorate the soil, where architect, mechanic, and bouzouki players do toil. There's churches here of every sect and schooling of the best. In lovely Minnesota, that lily of the West. So Michigan is not the place, nor Illinois the same. Their soil and climate can't compare for the raising of the grain. It's a land of milk and honey and temperatures of the best. They call it Minnesota, that lily of the West.
everyone, and happy St. Patrick's Day. My name is Julia Hale. This is Tim Braun. We're coming to you from Kansas City, Missouri. Wanted to wish everyone a happy holiday, and we're here to play you a little music. We thought this song would be fun. It really captures the thought of getting out in the summertime and being with friends. So without further ado, here is Rosalie by Thin Lizzy. She's quite the mediator, a smoother operator you will never see. She'll see you later, no one dare disobey her openly. She knows music, I know music too, you see. She's got the power, the teen queen Rosalie. Rosalie, 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 Rosalie. She's got the pleasure, comes from all cornerstones of the world. She's so fantastic, everybody's favorite little record girl. She knows music, I know music too, you see. She's so fantastic, the teen queen Rosalie. Rosalie, 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 Rosalie. Down on me, Rosalie, shine on me, won't you please? From Chattanooga to good old Boogalooza, you can hear her fine. She makes her choices, you better move fast when it is choosing time. She knows music, I know music too, you see. She's got the power, I got the power, Rosalie. Rosalie, 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 Rosalie. Happy St. Patrick's Day, everyone. Thank you so much.
Accordia, since St. Patrick's Day of last year, so many of us have had cause to grieve. And we have done so apart from one another, unable to observe the traditional rhythms and rituals of Irish mourning, which provide such comfort when we need it the most. This next piece is simply titled In Memoriam, and it acknowledges just some of the remarkable men and women that we have lost this past year. Performed by Gregory Harrington and produced by the New York Irish Centre, please consider this piece a tribute to all of your loved ones that have passed away, whom we mourn and whom we remember. Ariashde go raibh námannacha dílis.
A year ago, when the pandemic hit, it hit New York hard. There was huge loss of life and huge impact on daily life and on livelihoods. However, the response of the Irish community and other communities in New York has also been huge. In Irish, we have a word for this, mehel. It originated within the coming together of communities around harvest time or planting time, but has come to mean the coming together of the community at a time of great need. The response of the Irish community in New York to the pandemic has been phenomenal. Under the banner of Sláinte 2020, Irish community organisations raised funds to support those in greatest need, in particular the undocumented, who were beyond the reach of other assistance. Under the banner of Mehel, others raised funds to support frontline workers. The Irish in this city are one community in a community of communities. We're all in this together, but we can be proud of the response of the Irish to the challenges we are facing. Our final shades of green tonight are stories of Mehel.
Irish nurses, doctors and scientists have been integral to the health of New York throughout the city's history. I'm standing on Roosevelt Island in front of the ruined smallpox hospital, where the victims of prior epidemics were treated, many of them new immigrants. Working here in 1891, Dublin physician Dr. James Kelly founded the New York Celtic Medical Society as a way for Irish doctors to support each other during a time of nativism and hostility to outsiders. 130 years later, I'm proud to serve as the Society's president. We have never needed the creativity and energy of the Irish life sciences diaspora more during the difficult days of this pandemic. We are providing care at the front lines, studying the impact of the pandemic, and making the discoveries that will take us beyond these challenging days. I'm a proud alum of NUI Galway and, like many other Irish graduates, working to forge links across the Atlantic that will ensure that the next generation can take us even further into the future of science and medicine.
Hi, my name's Jim Rooney. I want to wish you happy St. Patrick's Day from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. When I think about St. Patrick's Day, especially this year, I think of my mother, Patricia. We lost my mother this past year, and like so many, we grieve that loss. But I also think of her story, the daughter of Irish immigrants. Her mother came over on a ship from County Mayo, and my mother went on to live the American dream. She married my father, Dan Rooney, and they lived in this country with that sense of belonging, of welcoming, and of hope. Through their work with so many great Americans, they helped create the American Ireland Fund. And they went back and worked with the Irish to build that country's strength. And now I see Ireland as a country of belonging, of welcoming, and of hope. And it is in that spirit that I'm grateful to say Happy St. Patrick's Day and Sláinte to everyone.
Happy St. Patrick's Day from the San Francisco United Irish Cultural Center, a building that was constructed in the early 1970s through a labor of love for many Irish and Irish Americans, including my father. I've been to many celebrations here and hope to do so in the future as we celebrate our rich cultural history. I'm a proud native San Franciscan, as well as a proud Irish American. Having served nearly 30 years in the San Francisco Fire Department, it became apparent to me just how deep public safety and public service is to the Irish community. As we've all had a challenging year, one of the great things about being Irish is our sense of hope and optimism. The color green symbolizes renewal and growth. It also symbolizes harmony and peace. And that's what I wish for each of you in the coming year. Thank you.
I first met President Biden more than 13 years ago in the parking lot of a restaurant north of Des Moines, Iowa, the last time he ran for president. When he heard I worked at Irish Art Center, without skipping a beat, he leaned into our car window and launched into that famous verse from The Curate Troy by Seamus Heaney, which of course he knew from memory. We met Taoiseach Micheál Martin about a year later when he was Minister for Foreign Affairs, and he came to see us next door in our existing tenement building here in Hell's Kitchen. The roof was leaking that day, as it reliably does after a heavy rain, and we had buckets spread out across the stage to catch the drops. I'm sure he thought we were laying it on a bit thick, and he'd later lead the Irish government's first investment of support in this flagship new Irish Art Center. We'll never forget it. When the pandemic intensified last March, we were in the middle of construction after more than a decade of visioning and planning. We were thrust into uncertainty as construction shut down for months. But thanks to the courage and resilience of our people and the support of our friends, we persevered. As ever, we were lifted up by artists. Our programming and classes moved online, reaching hundreds of thousands of people across the country and around the world. We commissioned a range of new performances, inspired by the idea of finding grace in the uncertainty of the current moment. We're delighted to share some of those works as part of Shades of Green, including Aoife O'Donovan, Duran Blind Boy Paxton and Nora Brown, and the Arturo O'Farrell Quartet with Aideen Maloney. Through the darkness of this past year, artists have held up the lantern, and now we see a light at the end of the tunnel. We're on the dawn of a cultural restoration here in New York and around the world. Not only a return to more normalcy, we hope, but a new normal, where we redouble our values of inclusion, inspired by the innovation of Irish artists, bringing people of all backgrounds together to celebrate our common humanity. And once we're all vaccinated and it's safe to gather together again, the new Irish Arts Centre will be here to welcome you. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Georgia, thank you for joining us this St. Patrick's Day to celebrate our community and culture across America, and to reaffirm the ties of kith and kin, hope and history that bind our two nations. Our closing performances this evening come from two very different special places. One along Ireland's wild Atlantic way, from where so many left to come to America. The other on America's eastern shore, to which so many came. Mayo may not be the home, just yet, to Sam Maguire, but alongside Louth, she's the county which President Biden's ancestors called home. From this unique landscape, we welcome an artist of rare talent, Patrick Dexter, a celloist whose daily recordings over the past year have, for so many, been a comfort as well as a joy. From his home in rural Mayo, we travel across the Atlantic to close our evening in the city that never sleeps. For almost half a century, the Irish Arts Centre in New York has been the cutting edge of arts in America. Like the city it calls home and the culture it represents, the centre is a dynamic, ever-changing place, which encourages experimentation, even as it celebrates tradition, which recognizes complexity as a virtue and education as the lighting of a fire. A place which increasingly is not just the centre of Irish arts in New York, but the nexus of a network of Irish cultural organisations and festivals running like tributaries through this great nation. More than anything, perhaps, the centre is an optimistic place, a refuge for creativity, for happiness and hope. We began with poetry this evening, and as we return to the centre, it's with poetry we will end. With the brilliant Aideen Maloney reciting the verse of Derek Mahan to the driving rhythms of Arturo O'Farrell Quartet. Friends, it has been a very bad year, the worst of years. But in time, as the poet put it, everything is going to be all right. From Washington, thank you for joining us this evening. Banach Dí na Féile Oribh Galéir.
Hello and welcome to my home in County Mayo. Around me you can see the mountains of Mayo, which for many people would have been their last glimpse at home before they made their voyage across the Atlantic to a new home in America, bringing many things with them, especially music. The music I'm going to play for you today is by Turlough O'Carolan, who was born not far from here in the west of Ireland in the 17th century, and our people brought his music all around the world. So for me, Patrick Dexter, a very happy St. Patrick's Day.
How should I not be glad to contemplate the clouds clearing beyond the dormer window, and a high tide reflected on the ceiling? There will be dying, but there is no need to go into that. The poems flow from the hand unbidden, and the hidden source is the watchful heart. The sun rises in spite of everything, and the far cities are beautiful and bright. I lie here in a riot of sunlight, watching the day break and the clouds flying. Everything is going to be all right.